welcome to the Paranatural Podcast. My name is Ben.
I'm Lou Frigno.
You are not the Incredible Hulk. He's Jake. And we are so glad to have you with us tonight as we dive into a wild little tale of aliens and soldiers, the Battle of Dulce. Jacob, how you doing tonight, brother?
Well, Dulce Wars.
It goes by a couple names, but yeah, sure.
I know.
Dulce Wars, Battle of Dulce Base, whatever you want to call it. It's a fucking wild tale.
Wild tale.
Wild tale.
But I'm doing good.
That's
How are
great.
you?
I'm doing good. Spooky season is over. The kids are done playing sports for the season. Now we got a time to breathe
I know.
until we got to cook a turkey.
Nobody likes that holiday anyways. Ain't no ghosts in it. Although, is there a story about like mutant turkeys attacking? Because that could be a fun one.
Give me an hour. There will be.
Yeah. So this story is fun.
Yeah, so why don't you go ahead and just jump right into this fucking thing.
All right, I'll jump into this
All right.
fucking thing.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're back from hell, by the way.
Yeah, it was a nice visit, but, you know, it's good to be home.
Yeah, I was Admiral Ezekiel J. Wellington III.
He was cute. Just so cute.
Oh, good. Floofy?
Floofy.
Good.
In every sense of the word. He needs to go on a diet.
Yeah. All right. This story starts off like any other romance story. Cattle mutilations.
Yeah, okay.
And what?
Okay. I can buy it.
How does your romance start?
Sheep mutilation. Cows are expensive.
We're not going back to Satan's harvest. All right. You and your sheeps. All right. In New Mexico, there is a small town that was established in the late 19th century called Dulce. It is surrounded by Apache reservations and odd tales. The Apache people only ever traveled through Dulce. They never wanted to settle in it. So when white settlers decided to make it their own, the natives didn't argue. They didn't care. Other than some strange occurrences such as lights, creatures, and missing animals, nothing too odd happened for nearly a century. In the early 1970s, some farmers began complaining to the local sheriff department about odd things happening to their cattle. One officer was in charge of figuring out the strange occurrence. I wrote cow occurrences. I'm funny.
Geez.
Even when I don't mean to be.
Oh, jeez.
The strange cow occurrences. His name was Gabriel Valdez. And the more he researched, the more he didn't know. Valdez noticed that some of the cows had many shattered bones, indicating that they had been dropped from a great distance. He also noticed the cattle were missing several layers of skin and most organs taken by something with surgeon-like precision. Neat.
Sure.
Cows don't fly, though, so how are they getting them broken bones?
Mm.
One more very strange thing about these cases is that no scavenger animals would go near the deceased cattle. When he reported his findings to his superiors, they were just as baffled as he was. The more cases that occurred, the more confusion there was. Not long after the mutilated cattle incidents, a woman by the name of Geraldine, had went to the police with an unbelievable story. Julian had gone to the Archuleta Mesa with her husband and his flatbed truck for stargazing.
Yeah,
of the biblical kind.
They were making the whoopee.
They were intercoursing up a storm. And they spotted something rather odd. At first, it looked like an extremely large bright star, but it didn't take long to realize that it was moving. After what felt like just a few moments, the thing, originally thought to be a star, had landed around 100 meters away from their truck. There was a strange smoke surrounding the object, but soon the smoke cleared. After the object was not obstructed, they had seen that it was a metallic craft, and soon stairs had come down from the craft. Julian was frozen in fear and could only watch as the scene unfolded. Her husband, on the other hand, decided it was time to get the fuck out of Dodge. Julian said the bottom was flat, but the top was a dome, and there was movement inside of it. Her story was nothing compared to what happened in the following years.
So you got two folks out there stargazing. In case you didn't hear that, I put the air quotes around it. And aliens come down.
Yeah.
I wonder if they had time to put on their pants.
The aliens? That's sick, Ben.
I don't think the aliens wear pants.
So you think they're just like Donald Duck in it?
Yeah. Why not?
All right. I don't you think the aliens were like, oh, baby, this is, well, a human planet, animal planet?
I mean, I'm Donald Ducking it.
Are you?
You can't see it on Zoom, buddy. I'm just kidding.
I'm intrigued, Benjamin. In 1979, Paul Benowitz operated a small electronics company called Thunder Scientific Corporation in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He was a brilliant physicist and inventor. He also had an avid interest in UFOs and was an investigator for APRO, Aerial Phenomenon Research Organization.
Also called APRO.
No.
Yeah. That's what the UFO peoples call it.
Nobody believes them.
That's real.
The Arizona UFO group, founded by Jim and Coral.
Coral?
I looked it up, like thinking maybe Carol.
Coral?
Coral. Coral.
Like the kid from The Walking Dead?
Coral.
Coral.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're doing two apologies for that.
Yeah.
I wish I had a trombone so I could do two of those. Yeah, Jim and Coral Lorenzen. From his home on the outskirts of Albuquerque, Benowitz had, along with others, seen strange lights in the night sky over the Manzano test range outside Albuquerque. The lights seemed to appear almost every evening and to fly towards Coyote Canyon. Also a part of the Kirtland Air Force Base area that included Sandia National Laboratory and Phillips Laboratory, both of which conduct ultra top secret government research.
It sounds like they have far too much stuff going on there.
Right?
Test ranges and laboratories and every goddamn thing else.
Well, just wait until you hear some other people's stuff.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. In early 1980, Paul Benowitz became involved in observing and filming objects which he had sighted on the ground and in the air near Kirtland Air Force Base and Manzano Range. Reportedly, his wife Cindy was also present to witness some of the first landings he witnessed and filmed the Coyote Canyon area. Subsequently, on October 24th, 1980, he contacted Major Ernest Edwards of the Kirtland Security Police, who, over the period of the next few months, became concerned and requested the guards of the Manzano weapons storage area to report to him any sightings of unusual aerial lights. At the beginning of August 1980, 3 guards reported sightings of an aerial light which descended on the Sandia Military Reservation. Ernest Edwards reported the sighting to AFOSI Special Agent Richard Doty. I've heard you say his name before.
Yes. A lot of these names will come up again because aside from the Dulce Wars, which you're covering tonight, there's a big other side of a story that involves a lot of these people. That's more of a conspiracy in the making type of thing that we'll get to.
What's the AFOSI? Okay.
We maybe find out later.
Yeah. Unaware that Doty had already heard from Russ Curtis, the Sandia security chief, that a Sandia security guard had sighted a disc-shaped object near a structure just a few minutes after the sighting by the 3 Manzano guards. Doty included these reports and several others in his formal report, forwarding to the, here it is, AFOSI, Air Force Office and Special Investigation Headquarters in Washington, D.C. The government is all over this.
Well, yeah.
We need to summon another demon and figure some stuff out. From this point on, any other persons became involved. Many other. Benowitz was called to a meeting in Kirtland Air Force Base, at which several major Air Force officers and Sandia personnel were present, including a brigadier. Did I say that right?
Brigadier General.
Yep. Ernest Edwards has confirmed that the 3 guards under his command reported what was described and that the meeting did take place. Richard Doty and Jerry Miller, scientific advisor for Air Force Test and Evaluation Center, Kirtland Air Force Base, interviewed Benowitz in his home on the edge of the Manzano base. They examined Benowitz's films and tapes, and Miller, a former Blue Book investigator at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, determined that the films did show some type of unidentified aerial objects, UFOs. They also noted that an array of electronic surveillance equipment that Benowitz had pointed at Manzano. AFOSI declined to investigate further, but scheduled an inspection of Benowitz's data by personnel at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. AFOSI also did a background check on Benowitz. There is a document signed by Thomas A.
Okay.
CSEH.
CSEH? That's not a name. Sure, we'll go with it.
Commander of the Base Investigation Detachment. To confirm this, finally, there is a complete set of documents which were released by AFOSI headquarters under cover of the Department of the Air Force relating to described events. Meanwhile, in 1979 or 1980, the record of this year is unclear. Benowitz and Dr. Leo Sprinkle, I like that name.
He will come up again.
Mm-hmm. A psychologist and respected UFO researcher, had been investigating the story which a deeply troubled woman named Myrna Henson told him. Have you heard that one?
Yep.
Good. She claimed that she and her young son had seen a UFO while driving on a rural road near Cimarron in northeastern New Mexico. With the patient's permission, Dr. Sprinkle began hypnotizing her, and over a 3-month period, Benowitz and Sprinkle heard a very unusual story. Under hypnosis, Henson said that not only has she seen several UFOs that day, but she had also seen cattle being abducted, and she and her son had also been abducted by the aliens and taken to a secret underground base where they saw the cattle being mutilated and drained of their blood and saw vats containing human body parts. She further said that some sort of implants were placed on the bodies of her and her son, and that the aliens could control their minds through these devices. Benowitz believed the woman's story, and he believed that it was connected somehow to the lights he was seeing over Manzano. He began filming the lights, amassing over 2,600 feet of film. Holy crap.
I'm not sure how much film that really is, but sounds like a lot.
1980. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know how many like that would translate better in our current day lingo to minutes as opposed to feet of film. I don't know how much a feet of film is per second.
I don't know. Google how much they use for an average 2-hour movie at the theater.
They don't anymore.
No, but Benjamin. He also came to believe that he could receive signals from the craft that he observed. He built antennae, antennals, and receivers to receive low-frequency electromagnetic transmissions that he believed came from the alien craft. Benowitz called his mission Project Beta. Those who have seen the films and heard the tapes of the low-frequency radio transmissions insist that there is no doubt that Benowitz was filming and recording real phenomena. Taking a step that ultimately led to his later troubles, Benowitz wrote a computer program and he claimed could translate the alien radio transmissions. He now came to believe that he was intercepting the messages that the aliens were transmitting to mind control devices such as those that Myrna Henson claimed had been placed on her and her son. That'd be kind of neat.
No. That would not be fun.
No. Hearing it.
Oh, yeah, maybe that, but not having it.
No. Yeah, so on November 10th, 1980, Benowitz presented his evidence again, and this time to high-ranking Air Force personnel, including Brigadier General William Brookshire. In the report of this meeting, it is noted that Benowitz was advised to apply for an Air Force grant to study the phenomena. Once again, however, the AFOSI declined to investigate the matter themselves. Benowitz was not to give up so easily. Besides the regular reports he was sending to APRO, he was contacting U.S. Senator Harrison Schmitt and Senator Peter Demancey, as well as other UFO investigators such as Linda Moulton Howe and John Lear. I've heard that name too.
Mm-hmm.
By 1982, APRO had decided to investigate Benowitz's claims. They sent William Moore, one of their directors and former school teacher turned writer and ufologist, to talk to Benowitz. Moore had gained a degree of fame in the UFO field for co-authoring with Charlie Berlitz a Philadelphia experiment and the Roswell incident. By now, Benowitz's story had become quite complicated. He told Moore that the alien transmissions he had received indicated that two types of aliens had invaded the U.S., the peaceful whites and the evil grays.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Jeez.
Yeah.
The Greys, who he said were responsible for the cattle mutilations and the abductions of humans, had a treaty with the U.S. government that allowed them to build a secret underground base beneath Archuleta Peak on the Yserio Indian Reservation near Dulce, New Mexico. The aliens, however, were about to break the treaty.
I'm getting dickered on this one.
Dickered indeed they got
Dickered
them.
indeed.
The already complex story gained an additional twist in that Bill Moore later stated in a public confession that he was recruited by someone with the codename Falcon to lead Paul Benowitz astray by giving him false information.
Yes.
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 Okay, so I got to the false information part. He claimed that he was given his orders by an AFOSI agent and that for 4 years he was asked to feed disinformation, including a forged Aquarius document, to Benowitz. This disinformation included verification of Benowitz's beliefs about the Greys and the underground base at Dulce. Paul Benowitz gradually became more and more paranoid, claiming that aliens came through the walls of his house at night and injected him with chemicals. He began keeping guns and knives all over his house. Finally, he had to be hospitalized for exhaustion and subsequently died June 23rd, 2003.
Mm-hmm. That's how it happened. Yeah, there's so much more behind that fucking story. Yeah.
Yeah, there's way more.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, just because his family is dickish and decided to put him in an institution in the 1990s, as suggested by the fucking government, when he was institutionalized, that basically fucked him out of any credibility. But we at the Paranatural Podcast know better. Right, gang?
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Now, on to the real story and enough of the lengthy bullshit.
Oh, I'm gonna do it.
All right. We're going to get on with Philip Schneider. Do you know who Philip Schneider is, Benjamin?
That rings a bell.
An explosive engineer that worked with the U.S. government with high-level security clearance, claimed that in 1979 he participated in building a secret underground base in Dulce, New Mexico. It is here that a horrific battle played out, leaving 60 humans dead and countless subterranean aliens fighting for their lives. And we're going to get his story straight from the Philip's mouth. You're excited, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Good, me too. Schneider asserts that he was suspicious of the engineering operation while noticing the presence of the Green Berets and Special Forces. His fears were realized after drilling underground. He came face to face with a 7-foot-tall, stinky gray alien. Stinky.
They're all 7 feet tall and they're all stinky.
All stinky and 7 feet tall. Obviously, he freaked out, grabbed the pistol he was carrying because that's what engineers do, shot and killed 2 aliens. Another alien shot some laser plasma ball or whatever at him and blew off some of his fingers. He was saved by a Green Beret who allegedly gave his life for him. In all, 60 human people allegedly lost their lives.
Allegedly.
We're just going to wrap a big old allegedly around all of this.
Yeah. They lost their lives that day at the alien-human battle of Dulce, the Dulce Wars. Now, this is what he says. You ready? There's a war under there, and it's been going on for quite some time. He was speaking about 1,477 underground bases around the world. 129 of them were located in the United States. Each cost $17 billion or more. He said the black budget hidden from the U.S. government agencies and from the public garners 25% of the gross national product. Military forces from multiple countries had been engaged in such warfare with aliens. He has this really long video that came about right before his unlucky demise.
Mm.
So anyone listening to this episode, you should definitely look up Philip Schneider, his lengthy what happened at Dulce. It's pretty interesting. Schneider became an outspoken advocate, calling the government to be more transparent about their knowledge of alien life. He also believed people in the government were trying to shut him up. When he died by suicide,
He unalived himself.
you just wait. Just wait. I meant for there to be quotations around that, but I am implying that. His supporters called foul play. Political scientist Michael Barkin claimed that underground missile installations built during the Cold War led to numerous rumors and ultimately led to the Dulce alien cave base legend. However, in 1999, the French government published a story concluding that the United States government has withheld evidence that point to the existence of UFOs. The paper was titled UFOs and Defense. What must we prepare for? The lesson here, the truth is out there. Or is it? It is, maybe, but probably not. Or it could be. Bill Schneider, supposedly one of the 3 people who survived the 1979 Dulce firefight between the Large Grays, U.S. intelligence and military at Dulce Underground Base, was found dead January 1996 due to what is said to be an execution-style murder. They tried to call this suicide, so pay attention.
He shot himself twice in the head.
Part of that.
Sorry. It's not funny, but it's funny.
He was found dead in his apartment with piano wire wrapped around his neck. According to some resources, it appeared as though he repeatedly suffered torture before he was finally killed. And yes, he was found with a gunshot to the back of his head. You can read the entire story, The Mysterious Life and Death of Philip Schneider. There have been numerous questions surrounding Schneider, in particular his motives and state of mind. 7 months prior to his death, he stated the following during a lecture. To give you an overview of basically what I am, I started off and went through engineering school. Half of my schooling was in the field, and I built up a reputation for being a geological engineer, as well as a structural engineer with both military and aerospace applications. I have helped build 2 main bases in the United States and have some significance as far as what is called the New World Order. The first base is the one in Dulce, New Mexico. Back in 1954, under the Eisenhower administration, the federal government decided to circumvent the Constitution of the United States and form a treaty with alien entities. It is called the 1954 Granada Treaty, which basically made the agreement that the aliens involved could take a few cows for their testing of their implants and take a few human beings for the same. But that they had to give details about the people involved. An insider's account of the treaty meeting is posted here. President Eisenhower's close encounters at Holloman Air Force Base. Slowly, the aliens altered the bargain until they decided they wouldn't abide by it at all. Back in 1979, this was reality, and the firefight at Dulce occurred quite by accident. This is another variation of what happened.
Yeah, there's
So
a
be
couple
ready.
different versions.
I know. I think this is my least favorite version. I was involved in building an addition to the deep underground military base at Dulce, which is probably the deepest base. It goes down 7 levels and over 2.5 miles deep. At the particular time, we have drilled 4 distinct holes in the desert, and we were going to link them all together and blow out large sections at a time. My job was to go down the holes and check the rock samples and recommend what explosive to deal with what particular rock. As I was heading down there, we found ourselves amidst a large cavern that was full of outer space aliens, otherwise known as large grays. I shot 2 of them. At the time, there were 30 people down there, and about 40 more came down after this started. And all of them got killed. We had surprised a whole underground base of existing aliens. Later, we found out that they have been living on our planet for a long time, perhaps 1 million years. This could explain a lot of what is behind the theory of ancient astronauts. So, that's what he had to say. I think he I don't know if he blames himself for it happening, but it sounds like he thinks he started it.
Way to go, asshole.
Yeah. He like bungee down a hole and he's like, oh, fuck, aliens, pop, pop. No. This is someone's interpretation of what he said.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the Dulce firefight for real? From information I have gathered, in 1979, a Gray was giving a lecture to an unknown determined number of scientists. During the lecture, a security officer came into the area with a sidearm on his belt. It was strictly forbidden to carry any weapon of any kind anywhere in the vicinity of the Grays. The security officer was instantly killed by the Gray. Other security personnel witnessing what happened in that room on the security cameras came in to retaliate. The Gray, according to the information, allegedly killed everyone. In a manner in which the Grays kill these people has not been disclosed, but was noted that the cause of their deaths were head wounds, and the approximate number killed was just over 60 scientists and security.
What a dick.
While Schneider claims that roughly 60 people were killed in the purported firefight below the desert, none of these statements have been proven. Nonetheless, he was certainly missing numerous digits while claiming as much, and he died by suicide in 1996. Now, I want to get your opinion, because the other version that I heard about is they were making expansions on this existing base for basically Men in Black type thing. Like the government and aliens were working in this base together to like learn more about each other, about space, blah, 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 and had made these deals with the government that they could take cattle and people. But some newbie with an itchy trigger finger ended up shooting 2 aliens, killing them, and a bunch of aliens didn't like that, so they start shooting at the humans start shooting back, and the story that I heard, it was over 60 people, humans, that had died, and like 40 grays. And after that, the government basically got rid of everyone's name that was involved, caved in the base, and made it like a Area 52. What have you heard about it?
I've heard both of those versions, which is funny. The only real difference between those two versions is who started it, who fired the first shot.
Right.
On one hand, you have the guy who says he did it, was an engineer and whatever. And on the other hand, you have a nameless, foot soldier or whatever who just gets a little spooked.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, there's a lot of similarities, and I find that interesting.
Yeah. Now, this just had to be added because I came across it at one of the articles that I read for this. And you guys deserve to know the truth about life and aliens and Bigfoots and big dicks. So,
where are they going to learn about that?
I got stories.
We can't teach them.
I have stories.
We read about them on the internet.
Well, yeah. Where else are you going to read? Not Bigfoot stuff.
No, he's got a little dick.
Wee little one.
According to Albert Osman.
Exact words of this.
All right.
This just made me giggle. Note, the Earth is definitely flat and aliens/UFOs are definitely real. If you are not fully awake to both of these truths, then you are not yet conscious. What real truthers now are doing is digging into the connecting dots. Are the ETs all interdimensional beings, and or is the Earth located in an infinite plane with many more worlds out just past the ice walls? Don't be a half-awake flat earther that thinks UFOs and ETs are not real, and don't be a half-awake ufologist that thinks we are living on a spinning ball hurling through outer space. Time to fully wake up, people, and stop fighting each other. Follow research, not people. Or dare I say, sheeple.
Could be a crackhead that got hold to the wrong stuff.
Could be a crackhead.
Fucking moron. Wake up, people! They're beyond the ice wall. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
The minute anybody says anything flat Earth related, I immediately am just like,
that just makes no fucking sense. I mean, it's just bullshit. Fuck.
To anything they say.
Oh yeah, I got into a long, wormhole, rabbit nest. Once I read that, then I clicked on the link, went to a different link, clicked on another one, and soon enough I was reading about how there is technically no proof that the Earth is round. And I read that for a little while, and, well, I still think the Earth is round.
Yeah, same.
I do follow research and not people.
You can do your own experiments to prove that the Earth is not flat. It's not hard to do.
But yeah, so that's the fun battle of Dulce.
Well, all right then. Bunch of folks got down here and shot up some aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
60 mother F's died.
Yeah.
Or more.
Scientists
allegedly.
and everything. Yeah, allegedly.
Scientists.
Allegedly.
So, what do you think, Benjamin? Real?
Yeah, I kind of doubt it.
That's the spirit. I think it's real too.
Although there is depending on how incredulous you want to be, there is some interesting points in there that do point to historical fact. So Eisenhower at one point, I'd have to look the story up, disappeared for like 3 days. And according to some people, that's when he was making the deal with the aliens that they could abduct cows and people and everything else. And that is historical fact. There's a 3-day period where he was just kind of not to be found, but
Yeah. Yeah, and they say that he was just like, I think I read about that, and they said he was just like needed a break and was in his house.
right.
Yeah.
But he was seen at one place and then 3 days later came from somewhere else. And I can't remember what those two places were. It's an interesting story it's weird. It's definitely a strange thing to have happened, but was he making deals with aliens? Fuck, I don't know.
Probably.
But
someone has to.
That's a wild story. And there's a whole lot more about Dulce that we'll get into with the whole Paul Benowitz conspiracy fucking shit.
So Phil Schneider, a few different stories in that one thing that I told you can watch. He has injuries for every time he says he's been injured. He's missing like 4 fingers on one hand. He got like this wicked skin graft type burn hole on his stomach where he said he got shot with one of those plasma balls. He showed the scar, and it's like this massive, like, it looks like he got a chunk taken out of him. He said a couple of days before he was talking, he got shot in the shoulder by someone in a black unmarked van. And he showed the bullet
the man
hole.
in black. Don't sue me, Will Smith.
He got shot right there. Showed the exit wound too. And he said he figured he needs to give this lecture before they finish the job.
Question being, why did they leave the lecture on YouTube?
So I didn't find it on YouTube.
Oh, well, then you might want to tell folks where you found it so that they can find it if they want to.
Look up Phil Schneider, and he's got several sites, and on any of those you will find it.
Alrighty.
But yeah, so stay safe.
Don't go digging around. You might find an alien. And if you find an alien, don't shoot it.
Only shoot first and ask questions later if they don't have friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight and hearing about fighting aliens down a hole. We really do appreciate you spending your time with us here on the Paranatural Podcast. You know we love you. Good night.
Nighty night, folks. Stay safe with those aliens.